I'm Shell. Welcome to my channel. If you haven't been here before, I've started doing Weight Watchers in 2025 and I'm going to be following that plan this year. But this video hasn't anything to do with Weight Watchers. I've been tagged by Jane Day. If you haven't seen Jane's videos, you really should, because she's one of the best YouTubers to do with weight loss that you'll come across. She's absolutely focused and dedicated, and if you want any tips for losing weight, especially if you're doing Slimming World, definitely go over to her channel. But she's tagged me in this New Year's questionnaire. I've never been tagged in anything before, and I don't normally, if you watch my channel, I don't normally like to share many personal things, so it's all new to me. This was started by Leanne over at the Fat Last Story, again another fantastic YouTuber. If you want to see somebody who knows how to have success at a long term, and you know, she's really worked at her weight loss, and she does Slimming World as well. I think she's done a couple of other things, but again, she's absolutely fantastic to watch. So I've been tagged to do this, and I am going to tag two people. I've been asked to tag, and I'm going to tag my friend Al over at Geeky Slimmers. If you haven't seen Al and Boris, again, I highly recommend you get over there, because Al is doing Slimming World as well, and he has a great weight loss story, and he's also incredibly fun to watch. He's really, if you want something to cheer you up, go over to Al's channel, and he's got all sorts of stories to tell, and he's really entertaining. And I'm also going to tag my friend Andrea at Andrea. I'll put the links to both, well, all the channels I've talked about so far. I'll put links in my description. Andrea also has done Slimming World, but recently she's been doing the, is it 1-to-1 diet? I think you call it. It's a bit like the Cambridge diet. But when she gets going on her weight loss journey, she's brilliant to watch, and she has a young family as well. She works, she's a midwife, but she also looks after four children, and she's got her husband as well, and she's brilliant to watch, and I think she'll get started again. She's had a bit of a break over December, but I think she's due to get started again in January. So they're the two people that I am going to tag with this questionnaire. So it's all to do with New Year and looking back on the last year, and looking forward to the New Year's. If you're not interested and you just want the Weight Watchers content, which I probably would, just move on, and I'll be doing my Weight Watchers update tomorrow. So the first question here is, who did you spend your New Year with, and what did you do? I spent my New Year with my partner Andy, and we watched a film. Actually, I can't remember what we watched now. We watched a few films recently. I can't remember which one we watched on New Year's Eve. We watched a film, then at midnight I went on to a channel. We use a thing called Team Talk, my friends and I, and we've got a really good community going of blind people. We go on there during the week and we do all kinds of things. We have quizzes. Tuesday night we get together and we all do crosswords together. Thursday night is usually music night, so we get together and we play. Sometimes it's jazz, sometimes they do a heavy metal one, which I don't go to. We do a classical one, so we play our favourite tunes to each other. Friday night is quiz night, Saturday night is quiz night. I host a quiz once a month on a Saturday, and I also host a quiz once a month on a Monday. And we have so many different things. We have a book club, we have a craft club, all sorts of things. So we get together, people from all around the world, we get together and we do these things. If you are interested and you're watching this and you are blind and you'd like to have a go, let me know, because we're always looking for new members. But we have such good fun, and we're all very, very close. We've been together for years. We're very close friends. We're very supportive of each other. So I went there at midnight to wish everybody that was there Happy New Year. And it was really nice to get in touch. A lot of people were away, but there were a handful of people there, and we had a bit of a natter. Then my mum rang and my dad, so I talked to my mum and dad, and then my sister and her husband rang, so I talked to them, and it was just lovely. We stayed up till about 1. And the next question 2, what did you toast with for the new year? And we had Prosecco. I'm going to try something a bit different because I believe Prosecco's got quite a lot of sugar in it. So we do like a fizzy wine, and recently we tried one from Aldi which was an English fizzy wine, and it was very nice, and I'm wondering if perhaps it's got a bit less sugar in it, so I'm going to look into that this year. So that's what we toasted with, Prosecco. Question 3. Do you make New Year's resolutions, and what were yours this year? Sometimes I make New Year's resolutions and sometimes I don't. I'm generally pretty good at keeping to them, apart from the weight loss one. I make the weight loss one every year and it never seems to happen. Although I am getting slowly there. I have lost about 3 stone so far, so it's coming along. But this year, I know a lot of people have been picking a word for the year, and I don't know. I think my year this year might be to focus or something, because really what I want to do is cut back on a lot of things and get started on a lot of other things, if that makes sense. Because, for example, I really want to learn to cook more. I can cook basic things, but I want to learn to cook better. Now, I've got loads and loads of recipe books. I keep getting recipe books. I keep looking through recipe books, and I get sort of recipe'd out. It's like if you want a different tin of beans and you go to the supermarket to choose one, and you're hoping there'll be 2 or 3 there and there are 50, and you're looking at the ingredients and you're looking at one's got curry and one's got this, one's got less sugar, one's got more of this, and in the end you look at them all and you get beamed out and you just grab the tin of Heinz and go. And that's a bit like I am with the recipe books. I look at them all, I look at the ingredients and I think, well, what should I make, what should I make? And I look at so many that in the end I think, oh God, just go down and make a stir fry. And I love to read. Reading is my main hobby. That's what I love to do more than anything. Ever since I could read at the age of about 2, that's all my main thing. But these days I'm finding, and I don't know how I've got into this now, but I'm finding that I spend so much time looking at YouTube channels about which book to read, reading reviews, going to Goodreads and writing my own reviews, looking at what books are coming out, joining book clubs and reading, and my actual reading time is getting less and less and less, and I'm doing more and more of that kind of thing. And same with exercise. I tend to just, looking at reading books about exercise, which one shall I do, which shall I pick, rather than just getting down to it. But I'll be telling you more about that tomorrow in my weight loss video, because I've got something to tell you about there, something very exciting. But it's the same with all my hobbies. I don't know how I've got into this, where I tend to, even the weight loss, I'm going to stick with the Weight Watchers now, and I'm going to make it work for me this year. I'm not going to fanny about doing all sorts of other things, because again, I spend so much time looking up books on Audible, what new weight loss books are coming out, looking on YouTube. Is it processed food, looking at things about fasting, looking at things like this, that and the other. I think, no, just stop. Just do the Weight Watchers and forget the rest. Stop reading about it, stop looking, So focus, that's what I want to do this year. That's my main resolution, is to cut back on all this other stuff and just streamline everything. That's the thing. Maybe that should be the word, streamline, yeah? So that's that. Anyway, right, that's that. Number 4. What lessons did you learn from 2024? Well, I learned a lot of lessons in 2024 because I had health problems, and I thought, because I was very robust up until a year ago, I was really fit and healthy and strong, and I thought that I would be the sort of person that sailed through the menopause without a hitch. I always imagined that. I always thought, well, it can't be that bad. I started the menopause 1 year ago, and it brought me to my knees. I thought I was dying. I honestly thought I had a terminal illness and I was dying. I was so ill. Fortunately, throughout the year I have got gradually better, but I was so poorly, and at the beginning of the year, and I was having panic attacks that I had to get beta blockers for a month, and it was awful. I felt my sanity was slipping as well at the same time as all the physical problems, and it was a shock. It was an absolute shock. and with it came arthritis, which I've never had before. Everyone in our family suffers from arthritis in the hands and the shoulders. My mum is crippled with it. My sister, who's 4 years older than me, is in a worse state than I am, and now I've started. And so over the last year, I felt like I'd aged about 20 years. My arthritis is so bad in my wrists that I can't use my stick to go out at the minute. I'm hoping that'll get better. So the lesson I've learnt really is a lot about how to try and live with these different things and how to improve them, and how not to just give up and say, well that's it, that's the way it's going to be. So I'm trying all sorts of things, although it has come to the stage where I'm now talking to my friends about arthritis, and when I talk to my sister now, we go, how's your shoulders? Oh, she's got bad knees as well, how's your knees? So it's not something we've ever done before, so it's moving into a whole new realm of getting older. But I've been working on it hard. I've been working on exercises, I've been working with bands. I saw a physio to get help with what exercises to do. I've got wrist splints, I've got all the stuff. So now I'm heading up to getting fit again and getting past this stage, and I'm hoping to start this new year just heading into a fitter, healthier year. And I want to put that menopause, I'm calling it the menopause year, I want to put that behind me. So number 5, if you had 3 wishes in 2025, what would they be? Right, well, I'm going to take this as a frivolous question, because obviously if anybody had 3 wishes, it would be an end to war, an end to poverty, and an end to global warming. Or if you had personal ones, everybody would want their family and friends to be well and all this. So I'm going to treat this as a frivolous question. So what I would like, firstly, this year, I would love a new kitchen, and I don't know whether it's going to happen, because before we get a new kitchen we need the lead pipes sorting out, and waiting for the water board to come and fix the lead pipes seems to take forever. So whenever they can come and put all new pipes in, or whatever they do, line them, or I don't know, whatever, until they do that we're just waiting. But I really would love to have a new kitchen. And the other thing I'd love to do, by the end of the year, I would love to read an audio book in Italian and understand it. I have started learning Italian, and I would love if I could read a book in Italian by the end of the year. That would be fantastic. And the third wish, I would love to serve up the most gourmet meal you could imagine. Oh, just, the sort of meal where people sit down and say, wow, did you really cook this? Because I normally just cook a curry, cook rice and dole it out onto the plate. But I'm thinking, if you could have I don't know, something really posh, and a nice dessert as well, because I don't ever cook desserts. So that's what I'd love to do. They're my 3 wishes. I'm sure I could come up with other ones, but I think they're nice ones. Number 6. What wise words would you what wise pearls of wisdom would you give to others in 2025 to help them? Right, I don't know whether this is controversial or not. This is something I've done that's helped me enormously, is to turn the radio off, or the telly. It's the news, it's so bad. And I used to wake up in the morning, because I wake up quite early, and I used to wake up in the morning and put the radio on. And by the time I got up, I was fuming, I was miserable, and sometimes, and Andy would wake up, by the time he'd wake up I'd been listening to the radio for an hour, and I'd start ranting at him about, oh, you should have heard what this person said, and they said this, and they said that, and do you know what's happened here, and do you know what this politician's done, and he'd say to me, why'd you do that, why'd you listen to the radio in the morning, it just makes you angry. And so I stopped it, I stopped listening to it in the morning. I either put music on, I put my book on, or I put a podcast on. Mostly podcasts. I love my podcasts, so I put those on, and throughout the day, no radio, because we used to listen to LBC radio, where you just get callers ringing up all the time, and they're so angry, these people ringing up, shouting and bawling, and I know it's justified, and I know terrible things are happening in the world, but I can't do anything about it. I can't change it. So now we put the news on when we're having our tea at about 5 or 6 o'clock. Put the news on, find out everything that's going on and turn it off. And don't listen to the news or the radio or angry people all day. And I'm telling you, I felt so much better. I really have. And I know what's happening, I know it's awful, but I just can't do anything about it. And me sitting here getting all angry and upset is not helping me, and it's not helping all the poor people that are suffering. So that would be my pearl of wisdom, is to just stop letting all this horrible stuff destroy your life, because it was upsetting me so much, and I was so miserable listening to it. So number 7, if you could travel to anywhere in 2025, where would it be with no limits? Italy, that's where I'd go. Well, I like to go to Italy, and I'm planning to go. I'm terrified of flying, absolutely terrified. So I wouldn't go abroad. I've always said I'd never go abroad. But I'm 57 now. If I could speak Italian by the time I was 60, I want to go to Italy. And Andy said he'd come with me, even though he's equally terrified of flying, even though we don't like going on holiday. Because I don't think holidays are that much fun when you can't see. They're all aggro and you don't know where you are. And I just like being at home. But I want to go to Italy, I really do. If I could go to Rome, I want to go and see the aqueducts. I keep seeing them on YouTube, and I think I'd love to go and see the aqueducts, and I'd love to go to Sicily. I'd love to go to Florence, all these places, and I want to go in the restaurants, and I want to be able to order in Italian, and I want to talk to people, and it would just be marvellous. My friend is Italian, she's teaching us, and no limits. I'd like to take all my mates with me, because there are 4 of us in the class learning Italian, and I'd like to take all of us there and us all go. It would be marvellous. But if I couldn't do that, the other thing I'd like to go is on a world tour of castles. I love castles, I love history, and imagine that, just going on a whole world tour where you just, dropped in from castle to castle, and had a guide to take you around and tell you all about it. That'd be great. We've got a castle at the end of our street. It's called Flint Castle, but it's a ruin really. All the walls are still there and the moat, but you can still go down there and walk around, and sometimes I stand there and I think, imagine what it would be like all those years ago, because it's a 13th century castle, and they would have come in here with the horses, and you can just imagine all the knights, and I love castles, the history. Number 8. Do you have any regrets from 2024? Well, of course I do. Everyone has regrets. If you haven't got any regrets, then you can't learn anything from your mistakes. So I've got lots of regrets. Most of them are small things. I regret time wasted. I'm a great time waster. As I said, I can go down rabbit holes on YouTube. I'll look at the video I want to watch, and then underneath it'll say, best way to cook tofu. I'll look at that, and then underneath that, the best talking budgie, and I love budgies. We used to have one. So I'll be there looking at that, and then the next one, the best fantasy book I read this year, and before I know it, all my time's gone. So I regret wasting time. I regret not emailing some friends back, because I often put it off, and then a few days have gone by, and then they'll write and say, did you get my last email? And I think, how could you not answer that? That was awful. Or not ringing a friend back. Things that I think matter to people, and sometimes I just forget, and I just put things aside, and so those sorts of things I think I regret the most. They're not big things, but they are things that bother me, and I do regret them. So yeah. Where are we up to? Number 8 are we? No, that was number 8. Number 9. What is your favourite memory of 2024? Well, I did have a memory from 2024, and I was talking to Andy about this last year, and I don't know if anybody else has these little golden moments that in your life, they're not memories of, the memory was going to this event or doing this and the other, but they're little snapshots of your life where things felt perfect. And I've got them going back right until when I was younger. I think my first one was just sitting on the beach with my friend. We went to one of these, what they used to call eyeballs from the CB. We had a CB radio. And one time we were just sitting on the beach and there was a roaring bonfire there and they were cooking potatoes on it. And they brought them over and we were just sitting on the beach and there was music and the friends and it was warm and it was just sitting there. I can almost be there now. I can almost feel that feeling of just, it's like almost like a blissful, happy feeling that everything's right in the world. Because I'd been having a bit of a rough time before then. My eyesight it's a condition called retinitis pigmentosa, or they call it RP for short, and it's an inherited genetic disease, which is to do with the rods and cones in your eye which detect colour and light. And what happens with mine is that when as you know, all your body parts, they all regenerate within, I think they say 7 years. So I was born with perfect eyesight, but as it got later and later, and as the cells in my eyes died off, they couldn't regenerate. They couldn't utilise the vitamin A that you need to regenerate the cells of the eye. So as they died off, within the first sort of 10 years or so, they didn't regenerate and so they just died. So I went to a normal school until I was 12, and then I went to a horrible boarding school run by nuns for the blind. And when I went there, I lost all my friends at home. So I didn't like being at school, and I was very lonely at home at the weekends. And it was a terrible year that I had. That year I was very lonely. I spent most of my time reading. But then when I was 13, a new girl joined school and she was so like me, it was unbelievable. She came from Cumbria. I think she was the only other kid there that was from Cumbria. She came from Cumbria. She was the same height as me. She had the same eye disease. She had the same hair colour. And we hit it off right from there on. From that day forward, we were best friends. And it made all the difference to my school life. And then at home, of course, we got the CB. And that changed my life utterly from then on at home. I had all kinds of friends, and we went off. People would come and pick me up in the car, and we'd go off, and it was really fantastic time. So my life changed around in both those areas, and I liked being at school because I was with my friend, and I liked being at home because I had all my mates there. And I think that's why this little spot on this beach, and just felt everything had turned around and everything was back on track. And I've had quite a few of these. I don't know, does anybody else have them? I've got quite a few I can remember. The last one was about 4 or 5 years ago, and it was just standing in the sea off Colwyn Bay. And Andy was on the shore with his camera, and he was laughing and talking to me. I was up to my knees in the sea, and the waves were all sloshing around, and I was holding my little dog Sandy in my arms, and the wind was blowing, and the sun was shining, and just standing there, I thought, I felt perfect. I felt ecstatic. And it's just a memory and a feeling, and I could almost reach out and touch it like I'm still there. I could almost bring it back. So I had one of these last year. We went to Liverpool and we walked along the front to Albert Dock. Andy, me and a friend of ours, and we just veered off the path at one point and went up a little slope, and there was a bench there, and sat on the bench and just being with Andy and our friend, and it was so sunny and warm, and I could hear children playing and dogs barking and the sea, and you could smell the sea, and it was just, I don't know, it's almost like extreme contentment, if that makes any sense. And that's my best memory from last year, and these things will stay with me. They're like little golden stepping stones that go back through your life that you can almost touch. Anyway, that's my memory from last year. We've done that one. So number 10. What are your top 3 YouTube channels at the moment? Right. Well, I'm not going to pick diet ones because there are so many of those, and I've got so many favourite ones of those, and I don't want to pick 3 because it would be unfair to put one over another. There's so many good ones now if you look. So I'm going to pick ones away from diet videos. So my first one I'm going to pick, it was really easy actually, because when I looked, these 3 are my top 3 of all time. So the first one is called PB with J. I'll put links to these in my description. PB with J. Jay is an American bloke, and he has a wife and 2 children and a dog. And they do vegan videos to do with being plant-based. That's what the PB is, plant-based with J. But they do this fantastic thing where they pick a cookbook, and he or his wife, or sometimes the kids because they're teenagers, they cook from this cookbook for a week. So they might pick over the week about 5 or 6 recipes, and they make them, and then they all sit down and they all taste them, and they give them, well, it's not numbers out of 10, but they say it's an A or a B or a B minus, and they rate all the recipes. But it's just so good. I like the family, they're so nice, and I like them doing the cookbooks as well, because it gives you an idea what cookbooks to do, and it's kind of inspired me to think, well, I could do that, as I said to you, with the problem of wondering which cookbook to pick. So I'm going to do that for myself. I'm going to, not over a week, but I'm going to pick a cookbook and I'm going to look through it, and I'm going to find which recipes I want just out of that book. I'm not going to look at any others, and I might even show you what I cook if it's not too messy, because I feel a bit embarrassed showing what I cook on here, because it probably doesn't look like maybe what you would want to see. I don't know. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do for myself. The second one is Fibre Spider. Now, I love crafts, I love to crochet, and Craig, the Fibre Spider, he does crocheting tutorials, and he does other things as well, and he's so nice, he's so lovely, and his crocheting is brilliant, and he does really easy patterns, not hard ones, and he describes it in a way that a blind person can follow. Most people, when they do crochet videos, they say, right, put the hook in here and pull the yarn through, and then now move your hook over here, and you've no idea. But the way he describes the videos, you can follow them, and they're easy patterns, and he's so lovely and gentle, and he's so easy to listen to. Fibre Spider Craig, just brilliant. So the third one I want to tell you about is called Kit and Caboodlers. Now, I love mudlarking. If you don't know what mudlarking is, it's where people go out in their wellies, often in horrible weather, and root about in the mud to see what they can find. Now, some of them root about in riverbeds, and some go to old dumps. I prefer the ones where they go to riverbeds. And the best of them is Kit and Caboodlers. It's Kit as in Kit and Caboodlers. I will put a link to all these, as I said, in the description. But these are a mother and daughter, and they go out together, and they go to different places and they root around to see what they can find. But they're particularly good because they always describe what they're holding up, and they get so excited about finding things. But they're different to some other channels because they take what they find back to the house, they clean it up, and they often do some research. They'll Google what they found so that they can tell you more about it, if something's got a model number on, or if it's got a stamp on it or something. They look up to see what it is that they found so they can tell you about it. I think they might actually sell some of the stuff on one of these Etsy shops. But they also make things from what they've got. The mum collects bits of dolls and makes some kind of Frankenstein doll out of all the parts that she's found. And they make jewellery, and they make all sorts of things. They're just so funny, and they're so nice, and they're so interesting, and they tell you all sorts of little bits of history as well as they're going along. And they like to collect certain things, so they've got collections of things that they found. I mean, pipes and marbles. You won't believe how many marbles they find. But even if you're not really interested in history, it's a really soothing channel to watch. and they're such nice people, and I think even, you know, anybody would enjoy their channel. I think you don't have to be interested in history or mudlarking. I would love to go mudlarking. I think if I could see, that would be one of the hobbies I would really get into. I'd be out there with me metal detector and rooting around in the mud of these places and seeing what you could find. It would be just marvellous. It really would. So they're my 3 channels anyway. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you managed to get to the end of it, I don't know why you would, but if you just want to get back to the normal Weight Watchers stuff, that'll be continuing on from tomorrow, and I can't see me doing another one of these. But thank you for watching anyway, and I hope Al and Andrea will do theirs. I'll be sending it over to them anyway, so if they do one, they might not want to, but if they do, go over and watch theirs and see what they have to say. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow in my normal weight loss video where hopefully you'll see less of me. Take care. Bye.